out my name. And you know, wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Don't you know that winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. You got a friend, oh, you got a friend, ain't it good to know you got a friend, you got a friend. Hello, friends. Happy Sunday, everybody. Thanks, Jim Jones. We got a special guest reverend this morning. Please give a good welcome to Reverend Marcus Gilliland. Thanks for being here. I'll let you guys take it away.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm Andrea. Good morning. And good morning locally and good morning virtually to everybody. So yes, our guest speaker is Reverend Marcus Gilliland. When he was here last year, he was not Reverend yet. So now he is the man. And you're at Vision Center. So he's at Vision Center, which is a place in San Diego, beautiful name, and puts his love and energy into that place. And then we get bits and pieces when you come here. So thank you so much. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I'm the person for today, just guiding our practices and the sequence of events as we go through them. So I would like to bring up, as Rev Guy does, the theme for the month is loving what matters. So my thought is, how do you nurture, for you, loving what matters? How do you nurture loving what matters in your life? So I pass it to the end.
Good morning. So I was glad you asked me this a little bit earlier, so it gave me a moment to think about it. But I'd have to say, for myself, it is trying to focus on being more accepting of what is rather than what I wish could have been or should have been. The more that I can tune into that, whether it's other people or other things in my life, I can be more accepting of the way things are. When I get caught up in thinking I wish it was a different way, that's where things break down. So that's for me.
Love it. For me, I always love there's a book that I love, and the saying is, love is letting go of fear. And I always go back to that when it comes to anything to do with love. And so for me, recognizing my fears and letting go of my fears, my monkey mind, if I am projecting, how can I save a big geographical space? How can I save the future? It's too grand. That's when I know my fear is projecting these grand thoughts. And so letting go of that grandiose idea and going back to the presence and what's immediately affectable in my realm is how I love what matters.
Am I sharing as well? Oh, okay. How do I nurture loving what matters? I mean, it's a perfect question. My talk is pretty much all about that today. So just as a preview, consciousness, community, and nurturing the self or co-creation. So that's kind of where I'm going to be talking about. But definitely starting with consciousness. How do I nurture loving what matters? It's taking time to recognize either in meditation or in activity, those things that really are important to me, things that come up right away, family and my community, but more to come. I'll be talking about that.
Thank you. So for me, loving it. And so my spiritual practice and nurturing that is my go-to. And I'm happy to share the mic. Apparently, Liz, you want to? Oh, she'll be the person.
Thank you. Yeah, for me, it is great probe. It is first being in the moment, being conscious of the voice that's always talking, which we're going to talk about later in class, that's always trying to control my ego versus my soul. There's always shoving and pushing because my ego is in my head, and my soul and my heart is right here. And I know the difference, so I think being conscious and aware and being in the present is the best way to nurture my love that I feel for myself and for others.
Okay, my spiritual exercises are very important to me, and I do them all throughout the day with different types. Like when I'm walking in the woods, you know, I have a certain type when I'm waking up, when I'm going to sleep. So it's just a matter of going from moment to moment or activity to activity and just remembering that divine part of yourself and giving it your time and your attention. Yep.
Anybody else?
Yeah, as I've gotten older, I've thought a lot about this, actually. And what I realize is what really matters is a number of things. One is my partner, my life's partner, my family, my spiritual community. And so I think about those things, and those are the things that really matter to me. But I also share what Jim Jones said earlier about about trying to understand and accept the way things are, and particularly from a political standpoint, because there's the way that I would like for things to be, but I have to try to understand and have some level of acceptance about the way things are. So that's important. That matters to me.
Yeah, I love what you said about spiritual practice. I'm going through a season in my life right now where there's incredible amounts of grief. And so every morning I wake up and I'm spending an hour just crying and loving that, you know, allowing that to come through and to pray and to do my Kundalini yoga, breathing, mind, body, spirit, and then pouring myself into my kids. So that's how I'm loving what matters.
One of the things I'm doing is, as I get older, I realize I have less time in this existence, and I ask myself, why am I here? And one of the things that's been occurring to me is really being willing to be seen more, which is why I'm standing, for one thing. But I've had some inspiration to put out a daily inspiration called Soul Shine. It lifts me up so much. I will sit down and do a whole series of them, and I'm in a different place. It's really inspiration coming through. And so that's what I'm noticing and saying, just go with it. Where it goes, I don't know, but I know that there's a calling, so I'm listening.
Anybody else?
Thanks for sharing, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, everybody. Cool. All right. So first I'll do an invocation, and then we'll do our more contemplative part of the service, okay? So the invocation is, of course, always to that consciousness of love, the divine beloved. Though I recognize that there is a beauty beyond even my comprehension, I recognize that there is a beauty so vast that in that mystery, I bow before it. I recognize that there is a part of me that adores this grand thing that I call the divine beloved, the vastness of a beingness, the ground of being. Any name that inspires me will inspire you in your own mind. So it is to this grace that I always go to. I start in the middle and end there. So that is the consciousness where this prayer is coming from, is a divine love that resides within me. And as I know and believe that this love is within me and we are one, it only goes to say that this love is within all of us. For your love is so expansive and so vast and so true, whether it's gardening or planting roses or nurturing our animals or nurturing what matters. It is that grandness that I speak to. So I am truly grateful. In this consciousness, I know that the service is a blessing. I know that we will be uplifted as our hearts open, as our consciousness expands, as we recognize and sit in this quality of love, that there is truth within that, and it takes away all worry. May it take away all worry and concern and be such a powerful force that we breathe it, we smell it, we speak it, and we adore it. So in the blessing of this service, in the blessing of the powerful words of Reverend Marcus, and the beautiful music of Lee and Jim, and in the presence of all of us, I say yes, I say thank you to the God-Goddess presence, and to all of us here as this unfolds. So the contemplative part of the service is the reading and the 3-minute silent contemplation, meditation. So to bring us there, I would just like to offer that we settle in our seats and maybe soften our face and relax our hands and go into that place of breath. So the place of breath, I invite you, as you're comfortable, to take 4 breaths in and pause. 4 breaths out and pause. And continue just that rhythm of 4 breaths in and pause, and 4 breaths out and pause. As you are breathing in, perhaps breathing in compassion, imagine your breath caring for you, filling your whole being with strength and steadiness. As you breathe out, imagine connection. As you exhale, send some tender caring to all who are suffering, remembering that you are not alone in this. And breathing in and settling and breathing out. The reading is by Pico Iyer. I just found out about this person, an author, recently, and he has captivated my attention. He recently, one of the books he wrote is The Art of Stillness, Adventures in Going Nowhere. And he says, in an age of speed, I begin to think nothing could be more invigorating than going slow. In an age of distraction, nothing can feel more luxurious than paying attention. And in an age of constant movement, nothing is more urgent than sitting still. Pico Iyer. So Jim will ring the bell, bringing us into 3 minutes of silent contemplation, and then ring it when that's complete. with a smile in your heart, please come into the room. Thank you.
So I wanted to share a version of how I love and nurture what matters, which is my own artistry. I wrote a new song this week that's a kind of an ode to artistry, and I was thinking a lot about Shakespeare and how grief and some events in life and feeling overwhelmed can make you feel like you want to throw your hands up and like, how do I even affect change anymore? How do I continue? And I always think of the to be or not to be, and how artists have been saying the same thing, and the great speakers of all time have been saying the same thing over and over again, is you've just got to choose to be. So there's a sing-along part in this new song that it just says to be is the answer. And, you know, to be or not to be, that is the question. And this is the idea that to be is the answer. So it just goes. So if you want to try singing this little part with me. To be is the answer. 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 So that comes in the song. I want to hear some voices in there. We'll share those ancient vibrations. They've got us in the games and we're falling behind. The unhealed hold the reins and their riches bought our minds. Every day's a plethora of ways to feed the soul, but they'd rather sell the lie to you than make-believe control. I've been searching for something, some part of the one thing. You know I'm trying to grow, but they keep giving us so much ado about nothing. If there is some karma, there is some ways to go. Some dreams are for forever, some not to be so. To be is the answer. 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 I've been searching for something, some part of the one thing. You know I'm trying to grow, but they keep giving us so much ado about nothing. Much ado about nothing. You know I'm trying to grow, but they keep giving us so. To be is the answer. 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 Beautiful. Sounds so great, everybody. Thank you. And on that note, please welcome our guest Reverend Marcus Gilliland, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's wonderful to be back here at Fallbrook. Good morning, everyone. I am loving this theme, loving what matters, and thank you for that prompt because it is so perfect, nurturing. For me, I guess expanding on earlier, the root of the chakra system, the beginning, for me is on Sunday, and I go through my week in that recognition of the chakra energies, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So nurturing is always that beginning, that beginning part of the week for me, and being in spiritual community. So I'm happy to be doing that here with you today. Some things that have stood out for me from Reverend Guy's talks from the past 2 weeks. The first week, I really loved his reframing of Emma Curtis Hopkins. Love works through me to will and to do that which is mine to do. Belonging, sharing, and growing as we build this beloved community. And then last week, moving beyond some of our belief systems into that one source that loves us without exception, living an authentic life and experiencing spiritual abundance, and the use of affirmations day by day. In every way, my life is getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, my life is getting better and better. Day by day. One of those things that we can always go to, that's nurturing as well, isn't it? That it's a way to soothe a part of us that might be frazzled and to bring us back into alignment. And when I was asked to come talk about loving what matters, the first thing that came to mind was this acronym that was from my conservative Christian days in Colorado Springs. It's the acronym JOY. And it was Jesus first, others second, and yourself last. And there's a little clue as to my level of self-esteem as I still remember yourself is last. And it's not surprising as a young gay man in a cultural environment that was very conservative, military town, very conservative household. Putting myself last was kind of okay because that put me out of view, and I didn't have to be present with my reality and my truth. However, as I've gotten older, as I've heard a few times this morning, I love the gift that we are offered to reframe those things in our lives and to take ownership in a way that is empowering rather than removing power. And so I thought, well, how can I think of that acronym in a new way? Jesus, others, yourself. And so Jesus, for me, is more of a historical figure, an idea, representation. There is, of course, probably a historical Jesus that we can never know. We just have records and sayings, a collection of sayings that were then extrapolated on and turned into communities, Matthew's community, Mark, and those others. But what really intrigues me about the idea of Jesus is Christ consciousness. This Christ consciousness, and that's something that we can cultivate within ourselves. Even he said, you're going to do all of this stuff and a lot more. So was not exclusive, that Christ consciousness, not exclusive to Jesus. And then second, others, well, community. Spiritual community, certainly, but also the community at large, the world community, the global community. How am I being involved in the global community? How am I loving what matters in that way? And then yourself, well, yeah, absolutely. There is loving what matters right here. What I am, who I am. What do I have to contribute? How do I co-create with the divine in me? How do I participate in my life? Because by participating, I'm helping to nurture and to love what matters. So, for Christ consciousness, the first time that I heard of Christ consciousness probably came through the avenues of New Age, right? It was not something that was really talked about in my Presbyterian church. There was emulating, definitely. There was Christ is the example, Jesus is the example. But Christ consciousness, well, that was something that came through different avenues for me. And it was a huge thing to accept that that's something that I can have moments of, right? We talk about the four kingdoms of to me, by me, through me, and as me. There's those moments of Spirit flowing through me when I'm in that ease and that grace, and the world is alight with all of the spiritual truth, and I'm in that groove. And then that's when I am in Christ consciousness. Seeing my fellow human beings and my brothers and sisters on this planet is something for me to love and to engage with. It's the moments of enlightenment that inspire moving forth into a different experience of what life is like. And it's also following along with that example of Jesus. He talked about forgiveness. If there's something on your heart before you go into spiritual community, go back and take care of that so that you'll be able to be present to that divine presence. Loving your neighbor as yourself. What does that mean? Oh my gosh. You know, as much as I love myself, will I make sure that I have something to eat in the morning, that I'm clothed, that I'm warm? What is that like for me to think of that in the global scale, you know, and not even the global scale, in the neighborhood, on the street corner? You know, we're always given opportunities to practice. And the new commandment, love one another. Pretty simple. As much as I've loved you, now go do that. Go love one another. Simple, but not easy all the time, right? So I do like this concept of Jesus first, but Jesus as an example of Christ consciousness, elevating my mind out of the mundane into a way of thinking that is beyond the little m me and the big m me. There's that opportunity to dance with spirit and to say, oh yeah, I can do that too. I can see Barbara Christ. I can see Michael Christ. I can see John Christ. Not just Jesus Christ, Sarah Christ, Bob Christ. How is the message of the universe coming, the universal spirit coming to me? How is it coming out through me, and how do I engage with other people in that way? So that's one way that we can think of as putting Christ first. At the end of the textbook, there's a section of meditations that were written by Ernest Holmes. And I came across again this one called I Take the Christ Way to Fulfillment. And it's a way of thinking of Christ consciousness. The first section I'll read here. It says, when Jesus said, no man cometh unto the Father but by me, of course he meant the I am. This I am, then, means the inner reality of every person's nature. And when we stop to figure it out, how can we come unto God, the living Spirit, except through the avenues of our own consciousness, which is the only approach to God we could possibly have? It's another way of saying that the only way we shall ever approach reality with the big R is by uncovering the divinity already latent within our own consciousness, in our own soul, in the center of our own being. So we have this opportunity to practice that uncovering. Like I talked about at the beginning of the talk, I have these concepts that bubble up that are from my past that no longer serve me, but that still have something in them, a grain of truth that I can latch onto, that I can say, oh, but I'm going to go that way. I'm going to go in that direction. That uncovering of that latent Christ consciousness that exists within each one of us, because we're not separated from that one source of all things. All of us were born with all of those qualities within us, abundance and balance and beauty and freedom. You know, they're there. They're part of who we are. And so we get that opportunity to go through that process of uncovering. And then next, in nurturing what matters, loving what matters, we come to community. I have a little card, my partner and I have we have a few altars throughout the house, but on one of the altars we have a little card that it has a saying on one side, and you know, you've seen them, they come out of those little boxes. On the first side of the card it says, love coming out of you makes you happy. And on the flip side it says, the whole world can love you, but that love will not make you happy. What will make you happy is to share all the love you have inside of you. That is the love that will make a difference. It's really easy for me to draw the curtains and hang out in the back garden and pretend like the world isn't happening out there. Sometimes it's enjoyable to be in community. Often it's really enjoyable to be in community. The more I pass through those limitations and spend time with people, spend time in spiritual community, spend time in volunteering, there's something energizing about being with others. It's taking that risk. It's moving to that growing edge and saying, "Whoa, I've never done that before, but I think I can. In fact, I know I can because there's those people there that are doing it." God is there already in all of those people. God is the presence that welcomes me, even when I'm a little bit trepidatious about going that extra mile. And in our philosophy and science of mind, religious science, we talk about panentheism, that God in everything. There's nowhere that is void of the presence of the divine. Whereas theism would be God separated from creation, out there, a God out there. Pantheism is that it's all God, it's all equal. With panentheism, we have God in creation, yet not absorbed by creation. God is more than, bigger than. Everything that I am is God, but I am not the encompassment of God, right? So we have that panentheism. We can look at community as God presence, seeing God everywhere. Now, I share the frustrations that some people do. I have to go through the process of removing myself from othering, making that group an other. I don't know if it's political or religious or diet or age, wealth. All of those categories are opportunities for me to make a person other than, rather than part of, with me. So when I get out of my head and stop othering people, then I have the opportunity to say, oh, okay, I understand that we're all part of one family. It's not always easy, It's really not easy, especially when the appearance is really strong that we aren't connected in some way. And I'm not saying that I have to put myself in situations where I'm going to be harmed or mentally hurt or anything like that. There are those times when even Jesus said, if you're not accepted, you just shake the dust off your feet and move on, But at least try. The open heart of compassion is one of those things that we are gifted with and we can employ. If we're turned away, well, that's fine. At least we've made that effort to move through. Some of the ways that we can do that, moving into community, is, of course, by volunteering. I know there's always opportunities at every spiritual center for volunteering. Thank you to everyone that does that. Thank you to everyone online that volunteers in some way for Hilltop. And there's also probably Fallbrook Community Center. I guess my point is there's always an opportunity for us to look for ways to engage in a way that we're not currently doing and to support that wider understanding of compassion and love that exists already. It's always at the base of all things because God is at the center of all things. Let's see. So one of the ways that I learned that when I first was introduced to this philosophy was through this song, There Is Only One of Us. There is only one of us, in your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us, you are my reflection. There is only one. And what is that like, to have somebody that I'm putting in another category to reflect back to me something about myself, so that I can learn about myself, see life in a different way, knowing that Spirit is always talking, Spirit is always calling, Spirit is always moving through creation in a way that is trying to get my attention and to say, hey, have you thought about this? Hey, what about that? I'm here too. Not always easy. It's a simple concept, but it's not always easy. And then the last part of that was putting myself last. And I no longer do that. And I'm proud of that I no longer do that. And I'm really happy to be in a place now where I realize that there is nothing that can separate me from the power and the love and the grace of the one presence of all things. And I know that truth for other people as well. So when I'm in those places of sadness or grief or disconnection, self-love, self-nurturing, being aware of taking care of this temple, this vessel, this body in a way that's healthy is good. That is co-creating with Spirit a life that is supportive and wonderful, and it strengthens me so that when I do go out into community, I can be a better me. I can be more full, more rich, more aware. When I can't remember the term, but it's sin is often talked about as turning in on oneself, like taking a cloak and pulling it over the head so that I'm not participating. But when I can nurture myself and take care of myself through spiritual practices that was talked about today, through yoga, through nutrition, through meditation, through participating in community, that's what brings me up so that I can be present to take care of what matters in my life. By loving myself, I can be a better partner, to my dogs, to my family, to my community. So Christ consciousness first, then community, recognizing that there's one Spirit is present everywhere in all things at all times and never stops. It is always co-creating. It is always in its ability to make and to be something new. And as I take care of myself, one of the practitioners at Vision says, give Spirit something new to work with in you. It's that new thought part of our movement. Give it a new thought. Give it something new within you to work through so that you can experience life in a more full and rich way, so that we might be present to those things that matter. As a part of the end of my ministerial training, I had the opportunity to do some transcriptions of some of the copies of original works done by Ernest Holmes, his brother Jerome Holmes, and Fenwick. Fenwick Holmes wrote a book of poetry, Celestial, I can't remember. Anyway, they used to train people in science of mind. They would send out LPs or records, 45s probably, with lessons on them. And you would play them on your record and you'd listen to them, and then when you'd go through the 12 lessons. And I was really struck by these end words from this 12th lesson that I transcribed. So I'm going to share with you today because I think it really fits into this love month and taking care of what matters. Ernest Holmes says, it's possible to draw near this state of consciousness by the simple practice of meditation upon and earnestly devoting one's mind to the contemplation of love. If love is thought of as Spirit speaking in human words, it might say to us, those who know me know that I have myriad forms of creation beyond propagation. I am in the song of the singer, in the rhythm of poetry, in the conception of the composer, and in the stroke of the artist's brush. The passion of the patriot comes from me, the sacrifice of the soldier on the field of battle, the vision of the prophet, the perception of the philosopher, the dedication of the saint, and the suffering of the Savior. All these are mine, for they are all love in action. Yield. Yield yourself to me. Dedicate yourself to me. Have faith in me, for I am love. Practice my presence. Meditate upon me, for I am nearer than your breath. Turn to me, and I will turn to you. I will inspire you. I will go with you. I will fill your life with happiness. I will stand by you in darkness. I will satisfy you in loneliness. I will be your courage in danger. All that I have and am, I will give you, for I am the source of all. I am love. Thank you.
Thanks, Rev. Thanks for that wisdom. Right, I'll sing another one of my little sing-alongs here about doing what matters on that small scale, those small steps that we have control over. So this is chop wood, carry water. It's not clear, but I'm just like you. I've been over here pointing fingers too. But if you want change, you gotta do what's good. Gotta carry that water, chop that wood. If you want change, you gotta do what you oughta. Chop that wood and carry that water. If you want change, you gotta do what you oughta. Chop that wood and carry that water. Well, everything I do is part of this earth. Step by step, I'm gonna add some worth. We could feel afraid, but you can't deny it. We feel at ease when we help each other try it. If you want change, you gotta do what you ought to. Chop that wood, carry that water. If you want change, you gotta do what you ought to. Chop that wood and carry that water. Because we're all together. Because we're all together. Yes, we're all together. It's cheesy, but it's true. Sing, we're all together. One more time. Sing, we're all together. Well, we should get together and sing these songs, but it's gonna take more to right these wrongs. I'm gonna know my history, I'm gonna do myself a favor, treat myself better and trust my neighbor. If you want change, you gotta do what you ought to. Chop that wood and carry that water. If you want change, you gotta do what you ought to. Chop that wood and carry that water. Yeah. Because we're all together. Yes, we are, we're all together. Walter knows, yes, we are, we're all together. Yes, we are all together. Beautifully sung, everybody. Good job, Walter.
So much, Reverend Marcus. So good to have your words of wisdom. Yay. Thank you so much. Thank you to our musical ensemble. Thank you to you too. It's so beautiful. So I am here to cultivate belonging, because that's what I was pondering a number of things. I was pondering service, and then I was like, cultivate belonging, you know? So as I cultivate belonging and being here because of service, because of volunteer, because of help, because of expressing yourself Sunday morning with your thoughts, all of that cultivates belonging. And I noticed that giving for me is like, I just want to. Oh, I got $50 today, I'm gonna give it. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in my purse. I think about it. How much am I gonna give in that sense of this cultivate belonging? So I invite you, every single one, every single time you think about Hilltop and you come on a Sunday, to find what nurtures you and cultivate it. And you do it already. And you might help in the kitchen because they're looking for cleanup crews. And you can cultivate belonging by just going in there and going, hey, how can I help? I'm going to help you clean up today. And they'd be like, really? Oh, thank you so much. Or like Mark, you know, cultivate belonging, and he did the roses. If you haven't seen those roses out front, you got to go, and he fixed them up and replanted them. And so when we cultivate belonging, we belong. And then we want to give to what is good, to what is real, to what is here, right here. And so I am cultivating belonging because it means so much to me. and each of each other. How much we love here, how much we love is huge. It's so big. It's like God. Oh my gosh. So, all right, anyway, be within yourself, love yourself, cultivate belonging, give to Hilltop, and we are so grateful that you do.
People coming through, coming through, coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have to, but you do, but you do. You keep on coming through, coming through, coming through. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm singing to you. Yeah, you. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'd like to go through the announcements. And as Lizzie mentioned this morning, that, and yes, you can call her Lizzie, she loves it. Anyway, so we are starting the book club, okay? I have the book in my purse. Michael Singer, what's the name of the book?
The Untethered Soul.
Thank you, The Untethered Soul. So we are starting that today, The Untethered Soul. The assignment, which we didn't really enunciate that well, is to come prepared to the first class by having read part 1. Whoopsie. So come anyway. If you didn't read part 1, or you read part 1, or you just picked up the book, come anyway. I think we're going to meet in the Emerson room. They'll need help in the kitchen. Kurt's part of the book study. I am Liz, and Paul Calabro is not here right now. But the sooner he's ready to go, the sooner we're ready to go. We said 12:15 just to give everyone enough time. So 6 weeks all the way through. We do have a big deal in March 9th, which is the annual meeting. And we are going to have a Cultivate Belonging potluck. So that is how you feel like you are participating. But that's not till March 9th. And of course, we'll skip that Sunday for our book study, but our book study will go every Sunday for 6 weeks, however that lines up, not consecutively. And Magdalene is here. She teaches Kundalini Yoga, usually about 3 times a month. It's on Wednesdays. It's in the Star Hall, and it starts at 4:30. She would like you to email her so she knows that you are dedicated, you're cultivating belonging in her class, and she's notified, so that's that. And, the Tao, of course, well-being in the Tao. Jim not only makes coffee, setups table, brings inspiring words, plays the box drum, and is a Tao teacher, besides other things I don't even know. And so you know by his contemplations how deep and mysterious he could be. So I would cultivate belonging in his class. Apparently this is the word of the day. Anytime Sundays at 9. Okay, you can cultivate belonging with Lee by buying Nostalgia, and that's online, and that's iTunes. It's in the newsletter now. You can just click on the link and you can cultivate belonging with him. And we have a prayer, please. You know, on that prayer card, it says, do you want to call? Don't feel shy. You know, say you want to call. One of us, one of the practitioners will call you. And it's just, you know, it's good. It's juicy. So, you know, you don't have to put your person last and go, well, no, I don't need a call. Click it, check it, we'll call you. You know? And so if, yes, Chris? Yes, it is, and we will be announcing that fully next week when Rev Guy is here, but thank you for sharing that. We will have slides and all the rest, so you'll all be cultivating belonging in attending that very sacred, very honored, very special, very deep celebration. Thank you. Max? Okay, so she also offers, just come into the classroom, which is as you walk in, it's the room in the back behind the offices. So she'll do the mantra, which is like chanting before service. Grounds the energy, opens up your heart. Nothing like chanting. Love, love, love chanting. So, and the prayer. Just put your prayers out there. Share us your prayers, and we're good to go. So as we end today, I'm going to read this poem that Rev Guy spoke of last week, Shanti Deva's poem, and we'll just give you a good word, the good word of, you know, go with peace, go with love, cultivate belonging in every part of your life, nurture it, nurture, and love everything, and may you just shine forth on this day. I'm thanking Michael, I'm thanking Steve, I'm thanking you for the roses, I'm thanking the volunteers in the kitchen and the front office and the gift shop and the greeters and all of that. So here is Shanti Deva. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, until all beings are freed from sorrow, until all beings are freed from sorrow, and all are awakened. Thank you, Reverend Marcus, for being here with us today. All right, namaste.
All right, everybody, I want to leave you on this Sunday with one of my favorite songs from the Civil Rights era, since it's Black History Month, quite fitting for it being Love Month as well, and a reminder that Ann Popovich has some knickknacks for Valentine's Day, belated Valentine's Day out there as well. This song's about keep on moving forward. It's called Keep Moving On. Keep moving on, keep moving on. Life is this way, yeah. Keep moving on, keep moving on. Every day, this is Sam Cooke. Keep moving on, keep moving on. Life is this way, yeah. Keep moving on, keep moving on. Every day. Brother, mind what you do, how you treat your fellow man. If you knew like me, you would do the very best you can. But there is one thing that I know, while you reap is what you sow. So keep moving on, keep moving on. Life is this way, yeah. Keep moving on, keep moving on. Every day, sing with me. Keep moving on, keep moving on. Life is this way, yeah. Keep moving on, keep moving on. Every day. When I go to sleep at night, I add up my day. I think of all the things I've done and debts I have to pay. For if you spread good all around, you'll be able to sleep when the sun goes down. So keep moving on, keep moving on. Life is this way, yeah. Keep moving on, keep moving on. Every day. One more time. Keep moving on, keep moving on. Life is this way, yeah. Keep moving on, keep moving on. Every day. Happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, Jim Jones. Thanks, Walter.